The wind rolled across the high plains like a restless spirit as rancher Samuel Holt finished repairing the broken fence at the edge of his vast Kansas property. It was late afternoon, the sun melting slowly into the horizon, and the empty silence of the prairie should have been peaceful. But that day, it felt strange, almost watchful. His horses were unsettled, stamping and snorting, and his dogs refused to leave the shade of the barn. Sam wiped the sweat from his brow, wondering what the land was trying to tell him. He'd spent years living out here alone, ever since his wife died and his children moved east. He thought he'd seen everything the West could show a man until he heard the sound of hooves, approaching in deliberate, heavy rhythm. 3 riders emerged first, tall, monstrous silhouettes atop massive painted horses. Behind them, a 4th rider, a powerful Apache Chief, his expression carved from stone, led the procession. Sam froze, one hand drifting toward his holster, not in threat, but instinct. These were not ordinary visitors. These were legends. These were the 3 giant sisters of the Apache High country, women known in whispers across the frontier, said to be stronger than oxen and braver than warriors. The chief raised his hand, signaling peace. "Rancher," he called in a low, thunderous voice, "we come not for war." Sam swallowed hard, stepping forward. "Then what do you need?" The chief dismounted, his boots hitting the ground like falling boulders. He studied Sam as if measuring his spirit. 15 winters ago, he began, you saved a wounded Apache boy on this very land. You gave him water, covered his wounds, and protected him until we found him. You did not ask for reward. You did not ask for peace. You simply acted with honor." Sam remembered, vaguely, a boy bleeding by the creek, arrow lodged in his leg, whispering for help. Sam had taken him in without a second thought. "That boy," the chief continued, "became my son." The revelation struck the rancher like a hammer. Before Sam could respond, the barn doors behind him creaked, and the chief stepped aside, revealing the 3 women, taller than any man Sam had ever seen, their shoulders broad, their faces painted in ceremonial ash. They stared at him with a mixture of curiosity and judgment. Each one seemed capable of breaking a horse in half with their bare hands. "Rancher Sam Holt," the chief declared, "you are a man of honor, and honor must be repaid." Sam blinked in disbelief. "Repaid? Chief, I didn't do anything special." "You saved a life. Not just any life, my blood. My tribe owes you a debt beyond words." Then, with the gravity of a mountain shifting, the chief spoke the words that stopped Sam's breath cold. "You're going to be their husband." Sam coughed on pure shock. "Their what?" "Chief, no, this must be a misunderstanding. I'm an old rancher. I'm not looking for a wife, let alone 3. The sisters exchanged glances, amused by his panic. The tallest one, Naya, stepped forward. Her voice was deep yet calm. "We do not seek a man to possess. We seek a man worthy of alliance." The chief explained that times were changing. Other tribes were uniting, preparing for storms, both of nature and of enemy. They wanted a bond with a man who had already proven himself a friend. A marriage alliance would give Sam protection and give the tribe access to grazing land and trade. Sam tried to wrap his mind around what was happening. He never expected his quiet ranch life to be shattered by such an enormous, almost unbelievable proposal. He paced, running his hand through his hair. "Chief, your trust honors me truly, but why would your tribe want a small rancher like me?" The chief placed a heavy hand on Sam's shoulder. "Because you have what most men lack: courage without violence, strength without pride, kindness without weakness. These women are warriors. They need not be protected. They need a partner who stands with respect." Sam felt his resistance wavering. He wasn't afraid of them, just stunned. The sisters stepped closer, and Sam could see they weren't monsters. They were extraordinary, powerful, but their eyes held warmth, curiosity, even hope. In that moment, Sam realized they were not there to break him. They were offering him a place in their world. As the sun dipped low, painting the sky in fire, the chief spoke once more. "We will stay the night in your barn. At sunrise you will give your answer. Sam nodded slowly. The ranch, once silent and lonely, had suddenly become the center of something unimaginable. And as he walked back into his house, heart pounding, he whispered to himself, "What in God's name have I gotten into?" Sam barely slept. The prairie wind howled all night, carrying the sounds of drums, soft chanting, and the occasional deep laughter of the giant sisters inside his barn. He lay awake staring at the wooden ceiling of his cabin, wondering how his life had changed so completely in a single evening. Before sunrise he stepped outside. The sky was still dark, but the campfire near the barn glowed softly, illuminating the chief seated cross-legged, as still as a stone statue. The sisters stood nearby practicing slow ritual movements, graceful but strong, like mountain lions stretching before a hunt. When they noticed Sam, Naya, tallest and seemingly the eldest, walked toward him. "Have you decided?" she asked, folding her massive arms. Sam exhaled sharply. "I've decided one thing. I don't want trouble between me and your people." The sister with braided hair, Luma, smiled faintly. "You fear us?" "No," Sam answered honestly. "I fear making a choice without understanding it." The chief rose, his presence grounding the entire moment. "Then understand this, rancher. A union with my daughters is not a prison. It is a pact of land, spirit, and loyalty. Our tribe is preparing for storms. Enemies move. Soldiers encroach. Settlers come with greed. We need allies we can trust. You, a simple rancher, have shown a rare heart." "But why me?" Sam repeated. "Because," the chief replied, 1,000 warriors can ride into battle, but only a good man can hold a home together." The words struck Sam deeper than he expected. He had lived alone for so long that he'd forgotten what a home filled with life felt like. Maybe fate was giving him a chance not to be lonely anymore. The sisters approached him in a circle. Naya spoke first. "If you choose yes, we will work this land with you." Luma added, "We will protect your ranch from any threat." The youngest, Taya, who had been quiet until now, gently rested her huge hand on his shoulder. "And we will honor you, not because we must, but because you saved a life precious to us." Sam was overwhelmed, not frightened. Now, but humbled. These women were offering him not domination or obligation, but partnership, strength beside strength, heart beside heart. Finally, he lifted his head. "I don't know what kind of husband I'd be," he admitted. "I'm no warrior. I'm no chief. I'm just a man who tries to do right." Naya's voice softened. "That is exactly the kind of man we want." A long silence settled over the plains as the sun's first golden rays rose from behind the hills. The chief stepped forward. "Well, rancher, your answer?" Sam inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of destiny pressing on his shoulders. Then with a calm, steady voice, he said, "If your daughters want me as their husband, then I say yes." The chief smiled, a rare, powerful sight. The sisters exchanged proud glances. A hawk screamed overhead as if announcing the beginning of a new chapter. The chief raised his hands to the sky. "Then let it be known. Today an alliance is forged. Rancher Samuel Holt has become family." To the Apache high country, the sisters gathered around Sam, not to intimidate him, but to welcome him. Taya placed a ceremonial necklace over his neck. Luma pressed her forehead gently against his. Naya simply said, "You chose with courage." For the first time in years, Sam felt surrounded by purpose, not the lonely silence of the plains, but the heartbeat of a tribe. This marriage was more than tradition. It was unity, destiny and fate written by the land itself. As the tribe prepared a celebratory drum circle, Sam looked toward the camera of the storyteller, toward the audience. "If you're listening to this," he said softly, "remember that life can change in a sunrise. And sometimes, the wildest moments bring the greatest blessings. If you loved this story and want more powerful Western tales, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support turns stories into legends."